Well, tell more about the class, about these societies we had, and Mr. Ragsdale speaking in the morning.
Well, Mr. Ragsdale always for opening exercises, and he didn't allow the kids better not. Nell knows that the kids had better not be trying to study during opening exercises. If they, because he'd get kind of severe about the way he'd talk about it, and he want them to leave those books down and take and listen and sing and whatever there was, and anyway, he always had it when he made a talk, maybe 2 or 3 times a week. He would have a good subject usually, and what was I talking about the other day? I was telling you about something he talked about that I remembered so well.
I don't remember, but he talked one time. I remember he talked about the solar system.
Yeah.
He spent the morning exercises explaining to us the various theories about that.
Well, he always had a good subject, and whatever it was, there was something I remembered. I was telling you, and you told me that the other day, but I've forgotten what it was. But it was interesting, and maybe current events and different things.
And then you all would sing some during these opening exercises?
Oh, yeah, well, we'd sing.
Did you do things like the Pledge of Allegiance and prayer or something like that?
Well, I'm not sure. There was a prayer occasionally, but I'm not sure we had every day. But we'd sing whatever. The music teacher, Miss Ruby Gish, was the music teacher, and when she was there, why they would have extras. She didn't come didn't come up there every morning, and.
But you would sing good music.
Yeah, oh yeah, we sang. We sang hymns, and that's our songbook was from. Part of that was from operas. It had there's one about Italia in there, and it's an Italian song, and it's I know my children's dad. I used to play it sometimes, and I always thought it was kind of pretty. And he said that was just a homesick waffles I made sing that.
So he didn't appreciate it as much as you did then.
He didn't appreciate any of it. He'd like to go on to school, but he didn't get to. And then our societies. That was a really good thing. When the freshmen came in, there was the Augustans and the Athenians, and there was one from each class, not a class. One Athenian and one Augustan that already in school would be picked out, and then they would choose. If they could choose from the new class and take turns, one choose over here and then one choose one, and that you were ever afterwards you were either an Augustan or an Athenian, and we had a program every single week, and
Athenians and the Augustans.
And you were ever afterwards. You were all through the 4 years. You was there. Well, then we would have these programs take turns. So we didn't take all. Say, for instance, well, if you had early afternoon, and we had the afternoon programs, lots of people just come out in the neighborhood and listen to our programs, and they take turns about. And you're supposed to have a debate in every one of them, and then you had a president, you had a secretary, and you had a critic, and you had the piano, somebody to play the piano, that is for your group singing, and had just a nice program, and lots of people, and when the weather was nice, and especially in the early afternoon, different people, we'd have several guests come in just to listen to the program. But the nice thing about that, in late years, I don't know, I've been to these meetings, been to church, especially churches, and some man would be called on to take over a meeting of some kind. He didn't have I've seen some of them that didn't have the remotest idea how to conduct a meeting. But after you went through the chairs of these, after 4 years, and you're supposed to have been one of them one time, sometime or other. And Mr. Razor told them when we got ready to graduate, well, any of them get ready to graduate, I want, if there's somebody that has not been president, I want everybody to go through that. And so the very last meeting we had, I'd never been president. I'd been through all the chairs, but I hadn't been president. And somebody got up and nominated me, and so I conducted the last one we had.
So it was a type of public speaking,
business
meeting, parliamentary procedure, just a combination of things that people might be called on to do in their lifetime.
That's exactly
Very
it.
interesting, very interesting.
And it gives you kind of working knowledge of how things ought to be anyway.
And that is something that students lack. It really is. I mean, it is severely lacking in schools.
Well, I realized that I went to where I live, some of the men in the congregation be called on for something to conduct a meeting. They didn't have the remotest idea. I don't know about, and then women either. And they're not all like that, but there was a lot of it that I thought, well, I was glad that I didn't have to do it that way. I never had to, but.
So even in high school, you continued to have a break, a recess or a break, right? Even in high school, you continued to have recess. You said you spoke about recess.
Yeah, we had we had our lunch. I don't know. We had an hour for lunch. I guess we did have an hour for lunch. Because time you'd eat your lunch.
Did you bring your lunch from home?
Yeah, we all brought. Yes, we didn't. You know, there wasn't any plumbing in the old high school at all. If you wanted to drink of water, you had to go out and pump it yourself. And we didn't think a thing about it. We did that in grade school. So we went to high school, we did the same thing. Only thing we had, I think at Hickory Grove, I think they had to draw up water, didn't over there. I don't think we had a pump over there.
Now, where was Hickory Grove School?
Back of where I live now.
Oh, behind
across the creek from where I live.
Yeah. And but everybody kind of gets Ruthie was telling me last 2 years ago, we have a visiting a place, and these people, Ruthie was telling this fellow he went to Wayne State and was going to be a teacher. And she told him to go up and talk to me and tell me about high school. When he was kind of amazed that I had this much, all this what I had in high school, because it was 3 years of German and 3 years of Latin, and there was 2 years of that that overlapped, you know. And you had both of them 2 years.